Hello everyone, this is Giraffe. Today we are going to talk about Indian mythology. Maybe you haven't heard of Indian mythology, but actually it is very interesting. Before we talk Indian mythology, we need to talk about Indian religion. In our impression, we might think of it as a Buddhist country, but actually India is not primarily Buddhist. It's Hindu. It's not the same as Buddhism. The number of Hindus is much larger than Buddhists. That's because over 80% of India's population believes in Hinduism, plus people in surrounding countries like Nepal, Mauritius, and Bangladesh. In total, more than 1.2 billion people believe in Hinduism. By comparison, only about 500 million people believe in Buddhism. So just by the number of believers, Hinduism is the third largest religion in the world, just below Christianity and Muslim. But Hinduism is not considered as one of the three major religions. This is because Hinduism is very concentrated in one region. Its fame and global influence aren't as widespread. Hinduism originated from an ancient religion called Brahminism, which no longer exists. It has since evolved into Hinduism. However, some elements have survived, most notably the caste system. The caste system divides Indian society into four main levels. The highest level is the Brahmin, considered closest to the gods. These are the religious and spiritual leader of India. Each level in the caste system has its fixed occupation. Brahmins focused on education, ritual sacrifices, and divination, roles considered very important in society. As the highest social class, they enjoy many privileges and much of the social wealth. For example, they traditionally did not have to pay taxes. It is believed in Hinduism that Brahmins have already paid all their taxes in previous generations, so they grew richer and wealthier. Brahmins are also exempt from physical punishment because they are seen as sacred. Additionally, giving gifts to a Brahmin is considered as a blessing. It is believed such generosity brings merit, either in this life or the next. As a result, many people want to offer gifts to Brahmins, with the greatest gift being lands. Donating land to a Brahmin is thought to free the giver from all sins. Consequently, Brahmins historically came to own vast amounts of land. But with such a sacred status also come with some restrictions. Most Brahmins are vegetarian, and traditionally they cannot get divorced. This is the highest caste. The second is called Kshatriya. Their names may sound unfamiliar. They are seldom heard outside of this context. This second level consists of kings and nobles, representing India's actual political and military ruling class. It might be surprising that the king belongs to the second level. The Kshatriya are responsible for all duties, except those of theocracy. Their main role is to protect the Brahmins and uphold social order. For example, Buddha Shakyamuni was a Kshatriya. He was born into an ancient Indian monarchy. He was a prince. The third level is called the Vaishya. These are the common people, farmers, merchants, and artisans. Interestingly, the richest man in India comes from the Vaishya class. Yes, the richest man belongs to the third level. They are ordinary people. There is nothing inherently negative about this status. The fourth level is called Shudra, who were historically servants and laborers, a position akin to slavery. In principle, Shudras had little freedom and could only perform basic jobs like cleaning, housekeeping, and cooking. These four levels together are called the Varna system. Beyond the Varna, the untouchables. Outside of these four Varnas are the Dalits, also known as the untouchables. Even a Shudra, a slave, was not considered an untouchable, meaning these are people you cannot touch. They are relegated to the most impure jobs, those related to dirt, death, and blood, cleaning toilets, working as barbers, leather workers, executioners, morticians, and grave diggers. In Indian society, education was entirely controlled by the Brahmins. Whether the untouchables could receive an education was up to the Brahmins, and in principle, they could not. Only Brahmins had access to the best education. Since those at the bottom had no access to learning, they had no chance for change or upward mobility. This means if you were born an untouchable or a Shudra, no matter how intelligent you were, you could never become a scholar or a teacher. You could only perform the lowest jobs in society. Your station in life, what you could and could not do, was essentially predetermined. The good occupations were chosen by the upper levels. You simply had no chance. This is a very strict hierarchy, and the most devastating part is that this social hierarchy is hereditary. If you were born into an untouchable family, you were an untouchable. All your descendants would be untouchables. Once you were an untouchable, your lineage remained untouchable. Marriage between different levels was forbidden, where upper levels might intermarry. For instance, between Brahmins and Kshatriyas, it was nearly impossible to marry an untouchable. If such a union occurred and the match was considered improper, both individuals could be cast out and become untouchables together. Therefore, marriage was not a method for social upgrade. The only purported way to improve your station was through the hard work of an entire lifetime or even an entire generation. However, if you were born an untouchable, no matter how hard you try, upgrading in this life is impossible. To motivate people, the belief was instilled that if you worked hard in this life, you might be reborn into a higher level in your next life. This life was fixed. Your reward or punishment came in the next. This is the concept of reincarnation in Hinduism. What if you donated land? Giving land to a Brahmin can only absorb your sins. It could not make you upgrade in this life. It merely ensured you wouldn't fall into a lower level in the next life. It was still advised to give gifts for spiritual merit. Ultimately, this system meant that if you were born an untouchable in this life, it was because you didn't work hard enough in your previous life. You could only accept your fate. The modern caste system and IT development. Actually, the caste system is directly related to a modern phenomenon. We know India is a major IT powerhouse, with some of the world's top talent in technology and engineering. Why is Indian IT so developed? Of course, factors like strong math skills and widespread English proficiency play a role, but a more direct reason lies within the caste system itself. The caste system strictly defines what you can and cannot do in this life. However, information technology is a new profession, one not mentioned in the ancient rules. This means that even an untouchable can work in IT. It is one of the ways for them to earn significant money without traditional restrictions. It is a new opportunity for those with no chance at a good traditional job. This field is their chance. Going into IT may not make you a nobleman within the old hierarchy, but it can ensure you don't have to worry about food and clothing, and you can avoid exhausting dirty work. However, the problem is that entering IT also requires education, a university degree or similar qualification. Untouchables usually cannot access good education, so they often miss this chance as well. Therefore, India's high development in IT and digital content is deeply intertwined with its social system. Why has the caste system lasted until today? Because over 4,000 years ago, the oldest secret texts of India, like the Rig Veda, already mentioned it. This means the social structure was set from the very beginning. After 4,000 years, it is not easy to change. Furthermore, Hinduism teaches that everyone who tries to shake or change this system will never achieve liberation, no matter how hard they try in their whole life. Therefore, no one dares to challenge it. In historical revelation, the Buddha, has no one ever tried to rebel? One person tried in history, Shakyamuni, the Buddha. Shakyamuni was a Kshatriya. He believed the caste system was unjust. He opposed the system and founded Buddhism, which rejects the caste system entirely. After he founded it, Buddhism became very popular in India quickly because people accept its more egalitarian ideas. Brahmanism began to decline. In response, Brahmanism started to absorb local, more down-to-earth folk religions, eventually evolving into today's Hinduism. It then surpassed Buddhism. Buddhism lacked of a strong political framework. It couldn't be used to control a population or build a social system. It focuses on personal cultivation, achieving enlightenment, and escaping the cycle of rebirth. It couldn't govern a country. Therefore, Buddhism was soon surpassed. That is why Buddhism originated in India but did not prosper there. It was essentially chased out and became popular around the world. Of course, Shakyamuni's high status gave him a platform. His rebellion came from a profound understanding that life and the world should be different from the rigid structure of Brahmanism. Therefore, Buddhism and Hinduism has fundamentally different philosophies. Karma and reincarnation. Hinduism also talks about reincarnation and karmic cause and effect. Its concept of reincarnation is that the actions of this life will yield results in the next life. If you do good deeds in this life, you may be reborn into a higher station in the next. If you do bad deeds, you will suffer negative consequences in the next life. You do not receive the bad results in this life. This is why people often ask, he did so many bad things. Why hasn't he been struck by lightnings? The answer is not in this life, but in the next. This means if you have a good life now, it is due to good deeds in your past life. If your life is difficult now, it is because you didn't work hard in your past life. Life cycles like this continuously, one life affecting the next, in an endless loop where you can theoretically ascend. By doing good, you constantly move up. The ultimate goal is to break free from this cycle of reincarnation and achieve liberation. Whether in Buddhism or Hinduism, liberation is the final purpose. However, their method of cultivation differ. In Buddhism, liberation is achieved primarily through meditation. In Hinduism, one method is through yoga. Originally, yoga was a spiritual path of cultivation for sages. Today, we often practice it for exercise. Hindu cosmology, the beginning of the world. Now let's talk about Indian mythology from Hinduism. Like many other religions, it begins with the world emerging from chaos. But what comes next is different and quite complex. It is said that within the chaos, a mysterious primal energy called Brahman was born. What kind of existence is Brahman? Humans cannot fully understand or even imagine it. Brahman can be anything. It is the ultimate supreme reality. Simply put, Brahman is a kind of existence that beyond our comprehension, the final fundamental reality of the universe. In Hinduism, this ultimate existence has another aspect, Atman, the self. The concept of Atman is also profound. It is essentially the same thing as Brahman. However, at the beginning of the universe, they separated. The ultimate purpose of Hinduism is to reunite Atman and Brahman. When the self and the ultimate reality become one, then the self can understand Brahman and ascend to the next level, the birth of the Creator God. From the mysterious energy of Brahman, water was born first. Into this water, a seed fell, forming a golden egg. From this egg, the first god in the world was born, Brahma, the creator god in Indian mythology. Simultaneously, the rest of the egg transformed into all other things in the universe. This world is not infinite. It has a set lifespan and follows a fixed cycle of creation and destruction. This great cycle lasts for 8.64 billion years. Interestingly, the estimated scientific lifespan of our Earth is about 9 billion years. The numbers are strikingly close, with a difference of only about 600 million years. Our calculation of Earth age, about 1.5 billion years so far is a scientific estimate. Hindu cosmology states we are currently about 4.32 billion years into the current cycle, the cycle of time, yugas. This 8.64 billion year figure is not a random guess. Ancient Indians convinced of time in units called yugas. One full world cycle consists of 4 stages. Satya Yuga, 1,728,000 years. Treta Yuga, also called Silver Age, 1,296,000 years. Dvapara Yuga, also called Bronze Age, 864,000 years. Kali Yuga, also called Iron Age, 432,000 years. This is the shortest. We are in this age now. Together, these 4 yugas total 4,320,000 years, which is one Mahayuga, also called Great Age. Human lifespans are longest in the first age, hundreds of thousands of years, and shortest in the last, around 100 years, like ours. The scale of cosmic time, 1,000 of these Mahayugas, 4.32 billion years, equals 1 kalpa, a single day and night of the god Brahma. This is the lifespan of our universe. After a kalpa ends, the universe is destroyed, and Brahma sleeps for an equal period before creating anew. So one full day of Brahma is 8.64 billion years. Brahma himself has a lifespan of 100 of his own years, each composed of these 8.64 billion year days. After 36,000 such cycles, even Brahma's existence ends, and the universe will not be reborn. Brahma is considered the physical form of the impersonal Brahman. Hinduism differs from many religions because it has many gods, but they are often seen as manifestations or physical forms of a few main divine principles. Brahma is the physical form of the creator aspect. After Brahma emerged from the egg, he had 4 heads and 4 hands. He originally had a 5th fist looking upward, but it was later cut off by another god, Shiva, a story for another time. Even though Brahma is the creator god in Hinduism, he is not the most widely worshipped today. There are 2 more widely worshipped deities. One represents destruction, Shiva. There is even a statue of Shiva at Saron in Europe. He symbolizes destruction. The other represents maintenance and balance, Vishnu. These 3 gods together form the core trinity of Hinduism. In other words, Brahma is in charge of creation, Vishnu governs preservation, and Shiva presides over destruction, completing the cosmic cycle. This may seem unrelated to Western religion, but there is a hidden connection. The European word for God is God, G-O-D. Where does this word come from? There are many theories. For instance, it may come from Germanic roots, meaning the invoked one or supreme being. However, some speculate that it could be an acronym form from 3 words. G for generate, means creation. O for operate, means maintenance. D for destroy, means destruction. This corresponds precisely to the 3 Hindu gods, the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer, combined into one concept of God. Among these 3, the most popular in India today is Vishnu, because he is a gentle and benevolent deity, a protector and sustainer. Therefore, many people worship Vishnu. Followers of Vishnu belong to Vaishnavism sect, one of the major branches of Hinduism. Vishnu has 10 avatars, the most famous of which is Shakyamuni, the Buddha. In Hinduism, it is believed that Buddha is the avatar of Vishnu, though Buddhism itself may not agree with this interpretation. The second most popular is the god of destruction, Shiva. Why is Shiva so revered? Because in Hinduism, destruction is not an end, but a rebirth, the start of a new cycle. Shiva ends what is negative or decayed. allowing for renewal and a fresh beginning. That is why he holds significant appeal. Shiva is often depicted with 3 eyes, a snake around his neck, 4 arms, holding a trident in one hand and a drum in another. Followers of Shiva belong to the Shaivism sect. As for Brahma, there is hardly any active Brahma sect today, though it existed in the past. Why is Brahma not popular? It is because Brahma is beyond human comprehension. To worship him, one must grasp something fundamentally abstract and unknowable, unlike Shiva and Vishnu, who feel more personified, relatable, and down to earth. People don't really understand what Brahma is, or even whether he represents good or evil. Originally, Brahma had 5 faces, with one facing upward. However, due to his arrogance as the creator god, boasting of his power, Shiva grew furious and burned off that upward-facing face with his 3rd eye, leaving Brahma with only 4 faces. Shiva is indeed formidable. Now regarding Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, while Brahma sounds masculine, Vishnu and Shiva might sound feminine to some ears, right? But in fact, all 3 are male deities, and each has a consort and children. In terms of pure functionality, the most powerful among them is Shiva, because he governs the cycle of reincarnation. Without him, there would be no cycle of rebirth. Shiva's mount is a white bull. Because his mount is a cow, Hindus do not eat beef. This is unrelated to Buddhism, and it is one of the distinct differences between Hinduism and Buddhism. Shiva has many wives. His principal consort is Parvati, the goddess of the mountains. The mountains here refer to the Himalayas. Strictly speaking, Parvati is not actually his first wife, but the reincarnation of his first wife. Because in Hinduism, there is constant reincarnation. Many deities are reincarnations or manifestations of others. In the end, it all traced back to just 2 or 3 main deities. Shiva's true first wife was named Sati. Sati was the daughter of Daksha, the highest god in Indian mythology. The highest god, isn't that Brahma? Brahma is actually a manifestation of the Supreme Being. Daksha, too, is an emanation of Brahman. Daksha did not like Shiva, but his daughter deeply loved him. Conflict with her father led Sati to immolate herself in fire. When Shiva learned his wife had sacrificed herself for him, he was enraged. He set fire to the heavens and sought to destroy the world. How did he try to destroy it? With his 3rd eye, he began burning everything, and through this cosmic dance, he shook the 3 realms, threatening to annihilate all of existence. To stop Shiva from destroying the world, Vishnu, the preserver and protector, intervened. He said to Shiva, "Calm down, I will ensure Sati is reborn." Hearing this, Shiva agreed and retreated to the Himalayas to meditate. He practiced asceticism there for 10,000 years. Vishnu then divided Sati's body into 108 pieces and scattered them across the world, allowing her to reincarnate. One part fell in the Himalayas, where she was reborn as Parvati, the daughter of the mountain king. What happened to the other parts? They were scattered worldwide. Wherever they fell, rebirth was possible. The part that fell in the Himalayas succeeded. This happened 10,000 years later. Shiva, deep in meditation, had forgotten his past love. Parvati, however, remembered him. After her rebirth, she sought out Shiva, but he did not recognize her. So Parvati turned to Kama, the god of love, for help. "Please help me," she pleaded. "We were destined from a past life." Kama agreed and shot Shiva with an arrow of desire, making him fall in love with Parvati. But when Shiva realized he had been enchanted by Kama's arrow, he was furious. In his wrath, he reduced Kama to ashes with his 3rd eye. Thus, in Hinduism, Kama is formless, burned away without a body. Yet, in time, Shiva remembered Parvati was his true wife, but the damage was done. Karma was already destroyed. Since he did not truly die, he could not be reborn, remaining eternally formless. In the end, Shiva reunited with Parvati, and they remained together forever. This moving love story symbolizes faithfulness and eternal devotion, embodied by both Parvati and Shiva. The devotion of Parvati, her unwavering love for Shiva lasting 10,000 years, is celebrated and revered throughout India. This story gave rise to a once widespread and deeply tragic custom known as sati, where a widow would immolate herself on her husband's funeral pyre. Originally, this was said to be a voluntary act, a testament to a wife's ultimate fidelity. Over time, however, social pressure turned what was meant to be a choice into an expectation, and in many places it became forced. This practice was officially outlawed in India in 1987. Changing laws that touch upon religious tradition in India is often a slow and difficult process, reflecting how deeply ingrained such customs can be. Shiva and Parvati have a famous son, Ganesh, the elephant-headed god, who is also revered as the god of wisdom and intellect. Ganesh is depicted with 4 arms and a single tusk. His right tusk is broken. Why is his tusk broken? One of the Indian's great ancient epics, Mahabharata, is the longest book in Indian literature, containing over 1.8 million words. It describes an immense, almost apocalyptic war. According to legend, Ganesh himself wrote down the epic. As he transcribed the story, his writing stylus broke. Determined to finish, he broke off his own right tusk to use as a pen, completing the monumental work, which is why he is shown with only 1 full tusk. Parvati is the daughter of the Himalaya mountain god, who had another daughter, Ganga, the goddess of the Ganges River. Ganga is therefore Parvati's sister and also became one of Shiva's consorts. Interestingly, Ganga was originally married to Vishnu, who had 3 consorts: Sarasvati, goddess of knowledge, Lakshmi, goddess of wealth, and Ganga. The 3 quarreled constantly, greatly troubling Vishnu. To resolve the conflicts, he gave Sarasvati to Brahma and Ganga to Shiva, keeping Lakshmi for himself. He was quite shrewd, wasn't he? But his choices were not arbitrary. Sarasvati represents wisdom, which Brahma, as the creator, needed. Vishnu, as sustainer, required prosperity. As for Shiva, the destroyer, was given Ganga, the goddess of the sacred river. Now, who do you think is the most powerful deity in Hindu mythology? Surprisingly, one of the most formidable figures is Parvati. Why? Because Hindu mythology features 2 primary opposing factions: the Devas, gods like Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, whom we typically recognize as divine, and the Asuras, often translated as demons or titans. These 2 groups are perpetually at war, an eternal struggle between gods and demons. Among these Asuras, the demon faction, there emerged a particularly formidable figure named Durga. None of the Devas could defeat her. The divine side was on the brink of defeat. Just as the gods were about to fall, a legendary hero appeared. This deity had 10 arms, whereas most gods had 4, and she was an incarnation of Parvati, the goddess of the mountains. She was a warrior manifestation, born solely for battle. In this form, she ultimately triumphed over Durga and saved the heavens. After victory, this 10-armed incarnation took the name of her defeated foe. She became known as Durga from then on. In Sanskrit, Durga means the inaccessible one, or the invisible. Thus, this 10-armed form of Parvati is also called Durga Tinashini, the one who eliminates suffering, though she is more widely known as the goddess who is difficult to approach. Later, another demon king arose among the Asuras, Raktabija, Even Durga could not defeat him, for Raktabija possessed a terrifying power. Every drop of his blood that touched the ground would spawn a new clone of him. The more he was wounded, the stronger he became. In response, another form of Parvati emerged, Kali, a darkened, intensified version of Durga. Her appearance reflects her fury: red eyes, a protruding right tongue, a garland of human skulls around her neck, and a severed head in one hand. It was as if a demon had been born from within the goddess herself. For sometimes, to defeat a demon, only another demon will do. Do you know what Kali rides as her mount? She rides atop Shiva himself. That is how powerful she is. When Kali appeared, she sucked Raktabija dry of all his blood, preventing any clones from forming, and thus destroyed him. But after drinking Raktabija's blood, Kali's demonic rage grew uncontrollable. She began to dance wildly, threatening to destroy the world. No god could stop her. Several tried, their heads strung onto her garland. In Hindu mythology, it is said that both Shiva and Kali can destroy the world through their dance. To prevent Kali from ending all creation, Shiva threw himself beneath her feet, cushioning her violent dance and preventing the earth from shaking apart. From then on, whenever Kali appears in her furious form, Shiva lies beneath her to calm and stabilize her. Kali also represents time, and thus she is called the Dark Mother or Kalima, the one who transcends time itself. Because Parvati possesses these two immensely powerful forms, Durga and Kali, she is regarded as the most powerful deity in all of Hindu mythology. In Hinduism, there is a sect dedicated to worshipping goddesses, specifically Durga and Kali, known as the Shakta tradition or the goddess worship sect. You might want to ask, when Kali went into her destructive rage, why didn't Vishnu and Brahma intervene? This touches on a key point. The reason the Asuras, the demons, are so powerful is because they have a hidden backer, the Brahma himself. Brahma is a deity without a fixed sense of good or evil. His principle is, if you strive with effort, I will support you, regardless of whether you do good or evil. In this way, he empowers both sides. Actually, the concept of God and demon in Hinduism is almost reversed in those in Western religions. The gods are called devas, which sounds like devil in English, yet in Hinduism, they are the divine beings. The demons are called asuras, which in some Asian Western traditions refer to benevolent or noble spirits. Their roles are inverted. This kind of inversion between Western and Eastern mythology also appears with dragons. In the West, dragons are often evil, while in the East, they are sacred and auspicious. Later, when Hinduism influenced Buddhism, the devas and asuras were incorporated into Buddhist cosmology as part of the 8 classes of beings, including gods, dragons, asuras, yaksha, and others. They are all considered part of the dragon lineage, mythological beings under the protection or influence of the nagas, divine serpents, or dragons. Is this belief system limited to India, or do other cultures follow it? It extends beyond India. For example, in Nepal, the majority of people follow Hinduism, and many belong to Brahmin caste. Ultimately, in Hinduism, all the efforts you make in this life are not for yourself in the present. They are for your rebirth in the next life. Your actions, karma, determine your future existence, shaping whether you rise or fall in the cycle of reincarnation. Above all the sharing for the Indian mythology, if you like this content, please share, hit the like button, and subscribe to this channel. Your support means a lot. See you next time.